Alright, good morning guys. So, today we're gonna do another Elden Ring video here. So, what we're doing in today's videos, we're going to come up to the Altus Plateau, and I'm gonna show you guys how to get the Black Knife. So, the Black Knife is probably one of the best face scaling knives in the game. The Ash of War of the Black Knife is super good, so it's called Blade of Death. And what that does is it does percentage based health damage and causes a little bit of a burn effect on the enemy. So it's super good against bosses. So after we're done getting our gear set up here, I'm going to show you guys exactly where to get that and show you where to fight the boss to receive that weapon. So you're going to have to fight one of the Black Knife Tiche. So a little cool fact about this knife is it's the knife that was actually used in an assassination of somebody they considered to be great. Malekith, the Black Blade, was associated with the creation of this knife. So there's just a whole lot of lore that goes into it. So if you guys want to check that out, I'd say it's definitely worth looking into. The weapon requires 8 strength, 12 dex, and 18 faith to use. And the Ash of War requires 25 FP. So if you're not super FP heavy, it can be a little costly. So just keep that in mind when you're using it. You can always use the Filigree Crest to reduce the FP cost, which is a nice little trinket you can pick up from a blacksmith that you find out in Altus Plateau. It can be pretty useful. So, if you've never fought any of these Black Knife Tiche before, they can be a little bit tricky. They move a little bit too much, in my opinion, but it is still a fun fight. As you can see, they do hit pretty hard. Just kind of learn the pattern that they have, because all of their attacks pretty much become pretty predictable at a certain point. When they do the jump in the air and slam down, I usually say that's the best time to counter if you dodge out of that. As you can see, they move quite a bit, and if you let them, they'll hit you more than one time in a combo. They'll actually mess you up pretty bad, because they do hit pretty hard here. In this clip, I might be a little over leveled to fight this boss. I believe I'm around 98. Yep, so just take this fight with caution. I think it's a little bit easier in this scenario, given the open field that you're in. But yeah, it's not too terribly tough, and you get a pretty cool weapon out of it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the weapon up here just so you guys can take a look at the stats, just so you know what is required. I know I did say it a little bit before, but feel free to read into the lore of the weapon. It's actually really cool. I just can't remember all of it to go over it immediately, so my apologies there. But yeah, if you wanted to do a dex build kind of mixed with using primarily daggers, doing a dex slash faith build is probably going to be best here. So next we're going to go down to the area in the snowy place, the very first grace you reach before actually getting into the snow area. And you get here after beating the capital. You go through 2 doors, take a lift down, and you might have actually missed this, but if you come up to the lift and you look directly up, there's a little bit of a path there. So we're going to take it up. Be careful here. I show that you can't just jump off and expect to make that. There is a bit of a gap between the lift and that section there. So now we're going to wait for the lift to come back down, and I'll kind of show you guys how to make that jump super easy. Alright, now that that's back down here, we're going to go ahead and start to take the lift up again. We're going to make sure to wait until it passes that area, and then we're going to run off, and you'll fall directly on that little ledge there. Okay, so once we get in here, we're going to go in and we're going to find the Blade of Calling. So the reason that I put these two weapons in the same video, their Ash of Wars are extremely similar in terms of the appearance of the Ash of War. The cool thing is this weapon actually requires less stats to use, so it's 6 strength, 13 dex, and 15 faith to use, and it scales better off of faith than anything else, but obviously you can build into dex or faith depending on how you want to go. I think faith is probably going to be the way to go with both these weapons to kind of increase the Ash of War's damage, and as you can see here I equipped both of them just so you guys can see how it looks. But they are both great weapons. I like the Blade of Calling, especially if versing undead enemies, because it does do holy damage. And that could be extremely useful in a lot of cases, because when you're fighting undead enemies, if you kill them with holy damage, they don't resurrect afterwards. So just keep that in mind. But I think that about covers everything I wanted to talk about today. Thank you guys for watching. You have a wonderful day.